Okay, first things first. Today the championship was starting in Austria, as you see in my last blog post, and I didn't play actually, haven't played, because my opponent had no vaccination and also no testing, and also he came too late, by the way, but anyway, he didn't have those kind of stuffs I just said, and therefore on my board, which was board 3, I was just winning for nothing. I didn't get any yellow points or something, but for our team it was good because we just won for basically nothing, as I said, on this board. And yeah, so I was just sitting there and waiting till my opponent arrives and blah blah blah. Then he came, he had no vaccination, blah blah blah, and then other guy came. His name was Lucas, and he is a fine guy. We talked a little bit, and then we took a board and played a couple of games, 3 games. I won all of them, and this was the last game we played. I won all of the games under 20 moves, kind of, and all were sacrificial games and attacking games and nice games, but the other 2 games, they were kind of thematic. Like there was a Greek gift sacrifice in the second one, and in the first one, and in the second one it was just yeah, he didn't knew this gambit, the Russo gambit, which is, I can just shortly show it, which is something along those lines. Knight here, knight there, bishop c4 and f5, and in this case you shouldn't take the pawn. He did take the pawn. You should continue with d3. This is actually my recommendation here, because yeah, and d4 is also kind of good for white, but d3 is simpler, so therefore I recommend d3. But he took it, and after e5 he already got the worst position here. Actually the only move is to go knight there, because you then have this check, but of course he just went back, and then I just continued harassing him around and got everything out of the opening, which what I wanted. This was the second game, and then I made at him on h2 at some point. But anyway, and the third game was actually the best, at least from my part. And it started with the move e4. I was white. He played the perk d6, d4, knight f6, knight c3, and now he played e5. And after the game he told me that you can take it and go for something like this with bishop c4, attacking this pawn, but then again I don't know what white really got out of it. There are no queens on the board. Yes, black cannot castle, but I think it's kind of playable for black. Yeah, white stands a bit better probably, but okay. I also saw something like this on the board, and I remembered some videos I saw and stuff, and I decided not to go for this, which is probably a wise decision. Instead I went knight f3, and he took, and I took back, of course, and now we are kind of in the Scotch game, I think. And he played bishop e7, bishop c4, castles, and c6. And I played the move king h1, which is kind of a useful move. I could have continued with other stuff, like trying to go a4, and if trying to go a4, and if the queen ever comes here, just kicking it away and gaining some space on the queen side, also preventing the move b5. So this is something to keep in mind for later, because king h1, after the game we just discussed this game for a short while, and I told him that I was expecting something like b5 and c5 in this position, just to kick back all my pieces, maybe even b4. And this is actually also the main recommendation for for black in this position. Well, anyway, I told him this in that position, I guess. And he played knight b6. Also knight e4 is kind of nice. And there I basically have nothing. But anyway, this little tactic with the incoming fork. Sorry for that error. Yeah, but anyway. Knight b6. Bishop back. And here he should just continue going back, but okay, he played c5 because who would play the knight back if he's just played it there? But black is already in a pretty bad state here. But anyway, knight f3, and now he played rook e8, which is kind of a bad move, I thought. And indeed it is not really the best, but anyway, it's still kind of playable on a lower level, I guess. But you know, all those weaknesses here, and my pieces can jump in at some point. Maybe the knight is coming. I'm a little bit foreshadowing here, but you just see all my pieces directing at his king, and he just removed one defender. Okay, probably his idea was to go back with the bishop and add some pressure on the e-file. But anyway, he should have continued with something like c4, and after bishop e4, d5, e5, and this is... It's better for white, but it's at least the best chance what he had. Rook e8 is just not that great. Okay, I played e5 and he took it, which is bad. Should go knight g4. I also told him this after the game, but he said he was a little bit afraid of something like h3, knight back. But okay, his knight can maybe come to f4. But we will see this in this variation anyway. But after all is said and done here in this main line of Stockfish, he is losing a pawn right around here because there is no way of defending this. But anyway. Okay, but instead of this knight g4 on move 12, he took it, which is, well, just in principle not that good of a decision, because the rook is eyeing this, bishop eyeing that, and now the knight has to leave and all my pieces come to life. He played knight fd7, and I played now the second best move recommended by the engine, which is winning. Yeah, which is winning as well, but it took me like 5 to 7 or 8 minutes to figure out the move here, because I smelled something here, you know. I thought there is something in the position, and in fact it's a completely winning position for white now. And the quickest way is probably bishop h7 immediately. This was also the move my instincts told me that I should play, but I played e6 first. It's completely winning. He should go knight f6 here just to prevent bishop h7, but then he is probably losing this with knight g5 incoming. But okay, it's kind of playable. Well, it's not playable by no means, but it's the best bet he had. But okay, he took it, and now I just sacrificed everything. Bishop h7, king h7, knight g5, bishop g5, and now queen h5. And here, I mean, there are two choices. Either he goes to g8, which is probably pretty bad, because then I can also grab this with an attack on the queen, and if the queen moves, then the rook the rook would hang, and there is a lot of stuff hanging around, and he is getting mated and destroyed like in the next couple of moves. And also I have, after king g8, if I want to, I have this kind of repetition here. But okay, he played bishop h6 and I took it, and he took back, and after rook there it's kind of over because he has to go to g8. But then queen here check, king h1, and queen hero there, and it's mate, so therefore he resigned there on move 19. But okay, after the game we discussed knight f6, attacking the queen. So here I just said you should give up the rook, which is in fact the best engine move. And after g takes, I would have to think again there, because here my my calculations were ending beforehand, and I thought about bishop f1, bishop f8. After the game we discussed this position and rook there to somehow lift it. But okay, probably bishop f8 is not that winning, I don't know. But rook d1 seems as though that it is, I don't know, you can give up the queen, get the bishop on h7. So I had the right ideas here after the game, but I didn't think about the position. We just discussed it a bit and tried some stuff out. Of course, this is just winning, this is winning, and maybe even this, I don't know. The idea of all those rook moves is just to lift it somewhere here, go on a GRH file. It all depends what white is doing. For example, knight e4, knight d5. I mean, black is just up so much material, but all those pieces aren't really doing that much. So here I just bring the last piece into the game, and for example bishop d7, here I can sacrifice yet another piece, and now I don't even take back with the bishop, which is of course also winning. Just this check again, he has to go back, and then he's made it again. So there were no defense after e6. It was just such a brutal attacking game, a perfect game. And yeah, here just shortly for you to check, accuracy 97.8 versus 57.3, and it was kind of a rapid game. And yeah, here you see the graph. This was the thing, I think, where I played e6 instead of bishop h7. Maybe it was even right around here, but as you see, it doesn't really matter. e6, bishop h7, everything is, all those moves are winning. But okay, so thanks for watching and see you next time. Ciao.